Hello friends, welcome back to another session of Web Technologies tutorial. In today's class, I'm going to show you a lab experiment. So let me brief you like what exactly is this particular lab experiment. So we need to assume four users, like user 1, 2, 3, and 4, having passwords P1, P2, P3, and P4 respectively. And we need to write a servlet for doing the following. So there is two parts over here. So the first one is A part. Inside the A part, what we need to do is we need to create the cookie and add these four user IDs and passwords to this cookie. For example, if I think that the user ID is Sudha and the password is Sudha123. So like this, I need to take four user IDs and passwords. Okay, so Sudha is the username and Sudha123 is the password. So in the same way, like Sinu and Sinu123, like that, we need to take four user IDs and passwords, and we need to add these user IDs and passwords to the cookie. After doing this, what we need to do is read the user ID password entered in the login form. So this is login.html form. So inside this, like there will be two text fields for entering the user ID and password. So the data from these two text fields need to be fetched. And then it needs to be checked across the user ID and password. If the user ID and password match, then we need to say that he is the authenticated user. Else we say that he is not the authenticate user. So read the user ID password entered in the login form, authenticate with the values available in the cookies. If he or she is a valid user, that is what is meant by valid user, that is username and password matched, then you should welcome him or her by the name. So say for example, the user ID is Sudha and the user password is Sudha123. So I am the authenticated user. If I'm authenticated user, meaning that my user ID and password matched, then I should be getting a welcome message by my name saying that welcome Sudha. Okay, else you should display so you are not an authenticate user. Okay, so this is what is the problem statement A. Okay, so problem statement B I'll be discussing in my next video. So it is like use init parameters to do the same thing, but we'll be using the init parameters, which I'll be making another video. In my next video, you can check out this part B. So in this particular video, I'm going to show you how to create a servlet for doing this authentication procedure. So let us get started. So the first thing that I'll be doing is I'll be creating a new folder. So create a new folder. So I'm naming it as login 8 because it's the 8th experiment. So inside this folder, so I'll be creating one more folder, so which is web INF folder. And inside this web INF folder, I'll be creating one more folder, which is the classes folder. So this is my classes folder. Okay. So inside this classes folder, I'll be putting my servlet. So let me create the servlet first. So let me go to the notepad. So this is the notepad. So I'll be writing my servlet over here. Okay. So the first thing I need to do is I need to import the packages. So I'm importing java.io.star package. Okay. And then I'm importing java.routine.star. Okay. So and again I'm importing into java dot servlet dot star. Okay. So then again I'm importing import java x dot servlet dot http dot stuff. Okay, right. Within my class, so public class. So I'm naming my class to be cookie1. Okay, extends http servlet. Okay, so this is the name of my class. So inside this class, I'm writing my method. So what's the method? So it is public void do post method. Do post. Okay, so do post method will be taking two parameters. So which is http servlet request. Okay, so which I'm naming it as REQ, and then http servlet response, okay, so which is res. So this method is capable of throwing IO exception, okay, and also the servlet exception. So I'm just naming both of them, and let me, okay, so this is my method. So whatever logic that you want to execute, you need to put it inside this particular do post method. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take the response object. So res dot set content, okay, type. So I'm setting it to the HTML text or HTML. So text slash HTML. So this is the first thing I have done. Okay. And the second thing is I'm taking a string, which is string n is equal to, it could be name also. So then I'm saying request dot get parameter. So what do this get parameter do is it will get the value that is given in the text field. So I'll be naming the text field as USR. So I have given the name of the text field over here. So this USR here is the name of the text field. Okay, so I want to get the value that is given at the text field USR. So the value will now come into the string n. Okay, right. In the same way, I'll be taking one more string to get the password. So then here I am saying P, okay, and the name of the password field is PWD. So remember this because these are the names that you need to give to the text field user name and text field password in the .html file. So you just need to remember them. So get parameter will get the value of this particular fields. Next, I'm going to create the print writer. So print writer, okay, out is equal to, so res dot get writer. Okay, fine. So now we'll start creating the cookies. Okay, so create the cookies, okay, for the username and passwords. Okay, so I started creating the cookies. How do you create? So I'm saying cookie, okay, so USR1 is equal to, okay, new cookie, okay, so give a name to the cookie and then give the value. Okay, so what is the name of the cookie, which is u1, comma, and what is the name of the cookie? So the first user ID is Sudha. So I have given the user ID and a name to the user ID. Okay, right. So since I'm having 4 users, I'm taking 4 users like this. So this is USR 1, 2, 3, and 4. And here also I'm changing it to U2, U3, and then U4. So the second user will be Sinu, and the third user will be Kumar, okay, and the fourth user will be Rao, okay, so and the fourth user will be Rao. In the same way, I need to create the passwords, okay, so I'm creating cookie for the password, and I'm naming the passwords to be PW1 and all that, okay, so I'm saying PW1 and I'm naming it as P1, okay, and what is the password, which is Sudha123. Okay, so in the same way, I'll be creating the passwords for the rest of the 3 users. Okay, right. So this is PW2, and this is 3, and this is 4. And then again, the name of the cookie is P2, P3, and P4. And this is Sinu 123, and this is Kumar 123. You can name anything, okay? So I'm just giving some passwords so that I can remember them easily. But passwords need to be really tough, okay? Right. So then I'm taking a flag. So once I have created the user cookies for the user IDs and passwords, now I'm building my logic to authenticate. So I said int flag is equal to 0. And now I'll be creating an array. Okay, so then I'm saying string. Okay, so user is equal to So I'll be creating, I'll be taking all the values uh, from the cookies. So I'm saying USR1 dot get value. So this is fetching the values from the cookies. User1 dot get value. So wherein it will be giving Sudha here. So I'm directly giving them and taking them here. User2 dot get value. Get value. So what will happen? Sino will come here. So USR3 dot get value. Kumar will come here. This is the fetching cookie. Okay. So next is USR4 dot get value. So I have taken all the values of the cookies here. Okay, fine. In the same way, I'll be getting all the values of the passwords in another string array. So here I am saying it is, I'll be naming it as PW, and here instead of user1, it will be PW1. Okay, so this will be PW2, and this will be PW3, and this will be PW4. Okay, so now all our data is ready. So now I'll be turning a loop. So I'm turning a loop for the number of users. So the number of users here are 4. So I'm turning the loop from 0 to 3. Okay, so I'm setting the loop over here. So inside the loop, I'll be doing the checking process. So I'll say if, okay. So if I'm saying user I, okay. So user I is nothing but this string array, right? Inside this particular user I, the value need to be there. Okay, so the user ID need to be there in this particular array. Okay, so then I'm saying user I dot. Okay, so let me give the logic here. User I dot equals. Okay, equals what it needs to be equal to. It needs to be equal to the name that is entered by the user in the USR text field. So which is nothing but n, right? So which is equals to n. Okay, and not only the user ID, it needs to be equal to the password as well. So I'm saying PWI dot equals, okay, what it needs to be equal to? It needs to be equal to the password that is entered by the user in the PWD text field, okay, password field. So I'm saying it is P, right? So equals to P. So if both are equal, so I gave a logical end because both needs to be same. Okay, like what we have given here. Okay, so it needs to be same. The user ID and the password needs to be same. So here I said if so both are equal, then I'm setting my flag to be 1. Else it will be still 0. Okay. So now what I'll do is, this is out of my for loop, right? Out of my for loop. So out of the for loop, I'll be checking the value of the flag. Okay. So if the flag is equal to 1, it means that the user ID and the password match and the user is the authenticated user. So I'm saying out.println. So I need to welcome the user with the name of the user, right? So I'll be saying welcome. And then how I'll be getting the name of the user? Let me give a space here. Uh, so the name of the user is there in n, right? So I'm saying n dot. So let me make it uppercase so that it will look nice. So I just have welcomed the user with the username. If it is equal to 1, it means that it is the user ID is correct, right? So that I can use this. Now else means that else means that the user ID or the password, any one of them is wrong. So here what I need to do according to the problem statement, I need to say that you are not an authenticated user. So I'm saying, and also it means that flag is 0. Okay, so flag is 0 initially, flag will become 1 only if the user ID and the password are correct. So that's the reason else means that flag is 0, meaning that user ID or password, anything is wrong. So in this, I'm going to say that you are not an authenticated user. So you are not an authenticated user. Please log in again or whatever you can say. Okay. So that's it, friends. So this is my servlet. So let me save the servlet with the name of the class. What's the name of the class? Which is cookie1. And where I need to save it? So I need to save it in the login 8. So web INF, inside this classes, I need to save it. So what's the name of the file? Which is cookie1.java. So I just have saved it. Okay. So now that the program is saved, now I need to compile it. Okay. So I need to compile this. So this is the path where this cookie1 is there, right? So let me copy this path. Okay. And go to CMD. Okay. So and let me give the path. Okay. So this is where the program is. So now let me compile this. I'm saying Java C and then it is cookie1.java. Okay. So there are no errors and the program compiled and I got my dot class file. So you can see I got the dot class file here. Okay, right. So once your servlet is ready, now we need to create your login page, which is login.html. So let me create that and show you. So this is my login.html. So you can see that which we have been creating since our first experiment. So I think I needn't tell you how I have written this login.html. So but just take a look at this particular form tag. So inside this form tag, so you can see that the method is post method because I have written do post method. And the action, you can see action is equal to, so I gave an URL here, which is cookie1. So cookie1 is the name of the servlet that we have written, right? So this is the path. Okay, so this is the URL. Else, rest everything is same. And one more thing that you need to keep in mind is, so this is the input text field that we have created. And what is the name of this particular text field for taking the user ID, which is USR. Okay, so that's what I have written in our servlet, right? In the get parameter, I have written USR. And then the name of the password field is pwd. So you can see that in the servlet, I have written get parameter pwd. Okay, so these names are important. So you just need to take by the names. And then finally, we have a submit button with name login written on it. So once you click on the login, the servlet needs to get activated. So for that, we need to do the mapping process. So the mapping process will be done in the web.xml. So let me show you how I have written the web.xml. So where I need to save this login .html. So I need to go to this particular login 8. Okay. So save it there. So on the desktop, so I have this login 8 and here I am saying it is login.html. So I'm saving it in the folder. Okay, so fine. So this login.html is saved. So now let me create web.xml. This is my web.xml. So you can see this is the servlet tag. So inside the servlet tag, there are two more tags, which are servlet name and servlet class. So what is the servlet name? So the name of the servlet is cookie1 and the name of the dot class file is also cookie1. And the mapping I have done here and the name of the servlet is cookie1 and the URL pattern is /cookie1. Okay, right. And what is a welcome file? So the welcome file is login.html. So I have written this web.xml and where I need to save it, I need to save it inside. So on the desktop, so you have login 8. So inside this web INF, I need to save my web.xml. So this is nothing but web.xml. Just save it. Okay. So right, it is saved now. Okay, friends. So this is our login 8. This is the folder. So wherein we have created all our files. So let me open and show you this login 8. So we have this login.html. So this is the HTML file and you have one more folder, which is web-inf. So inside this, you have this web.xml file. So you can see the type XML document. And then inside the classes, you have this cookie.java class and then Java file. And also you have cookie1.class, which is the class file. Okay, right. So now that our folder is ready, so what we need to do is we need to copy this folder into the web apps of the Tomcat. So well friends, so I have placed this login aid inside the web apps. So you can see this is how this is the path of my Tomcat. So it's in C drive, program files, Apache Software Foundation, Tomcat 8.5 and web apps. Inside the web apps, I have placed my application. So which is login aid application. So once you place it in the web apps, now what we need to do is we need to start the Tomcat. So go into the bin folder and start up click on this bat file, which is startup. So once I click on this, so your Tomcat started. So now let me go to the browser. So go to the browser. So this is my browser and let me type localhost 8080. So this is my Tomcat. So now I need to give a slash and give the name of the folder. So what's the name of the folder? Which is login aid, right? So as soon as I hit on the enter, so you can see that the login page has opened for me. Okay, so let me give Sudha and let me give the password. So what is password that I have given, which is Sudha123, right? So I'm giving the password. So this is the username I have given. So let me show you. This is the username and this is the password that I have written. So it will match for me because these are the two things that I have given in the servlet. So this will match for me. So as soon as I click on login, it will tell me welcome Sudha. So let us check that. So let me hit on the login button here. As soon as I hit on the login button, it is saying welcome Sudha. Okay. So let me give the wrong username and password and we'll see. So say for example, I'm giving the username to be, for example, Nina, and then I'm giving the password to be Nina1123. Okay, so I haven't given Nina or Nina123 in our servlet, right? So now it will say me as I click on the login button, it will say me you are not an authenticated user. Okay, so let us check with the other names that we have, username and passwords that we have given. We have given Kumar, right? So let me check it for Kumar123. So it is saying welcome Kumar. Okay, so I have given one more user. So one more user is Sinu I have given. So it is Sinu and the password is Sinu 123. Okay, so as I click on it, it is saying welcome Sinu. So I have given one more, which is Rao, right? So which is Rao, and then I'm saying Rao 123. Okay, so it's saying welcome Rao. But for the other thing, say for example, I'm giving for the Rao, I'm giving the password wrong. So I'm saying it is Kitty. Okay, so the password for Rao is Kitty I have given. So it is saying you are not an authenticated user. So it is important that the username and password both match. Then only it will ask us to, it will show us the home page or whatever. Okay, so username and password both needs to be correct. So I hope this video is helpful to you. Thank you so much.